Okay, so our class today is all about sequencing and sequencing within the body. So being really clear about what body part is the leader, and then thinking about how we can make other parts of the body almost trail. Um, this is something that when I was dancing, was a huge part of my movement life, and I really loved it. And so I thought today we could integrate some of that into the flow. So I'll try to be very specific with my cues, particularly when we're entering into a new pose, about what's initiating the movement and then how things might follow along. So we can go ahead and get started. We'll be on our backs. For low bridge, as we always are, feet will be on the floor, knees up to the ceiling. You can just go ahead and lay down. We'll just briefly here, let the knees fall side to side, so falling to the right, and feel how the pelvis responds there. And then knees through center and let them slightly just shift over to the left. And you'll feel as we move between the two sides as we do this, the natural sequential response is that the pelvis is going to respond by lifting off the floor. Then it kind of starts to get into our spine a little bit. So we're often in my classes like very particular about keeping stability, particularly in the spine, and we will cultivate that today, but we'll also start to build, try to find a little more fluidity and experiment with those two states. So you can let your knees come back to center. We'll head into our first low bridge a little differently today. So lengthen the tailbone, squeeze the glutes, and then just lift the back of the pelvis off the floor. So it's like your pelvis is lifting. This feels about like an inch for me. So your sacrum's pulling off the floor, but you still feel your low back drawn to the ground. And then we'll lower what we've got lifted. And now we're going to try to segmentally lift a bit more. So we lift that just the back of the pelvis and then maybe an extra vertebrae or two. And of course, we're not going to be super precise about what that is, but we can imagine. And then we lower, reversing that order. So first that middle back lowers and then all the way down to the pelvis. And now we're going to add on another chain in the spine here. So maybe approaching more of a fuller bridge at this point. Pause at the top for a moment. And then we'll lower all the way through the spine, first mid back and then down to the pelvis. And this last time, lengthen the tailbone. We'll lift up to our more typical version of bridge. Pause at the top there. Exhale. As you exhale, imagine the two sides of your torso knitting together, almost like they are moving towards your belly button. And then to lower, we're going to kind of do the analogous version of that. So we lower first that upper middle part of the back, and then use the glutes, extend more into your full bridge. And we'll lower upper middle and then the mid part of the back this next time. So pelvis is still lifted, and extend, and a little bit more. So we're just kind of coming into this accumulation style here. Sequentially, we lift up. Sequentially lowering through the spine. This time, everything but the pelvis. Lift to your full bridge. And then we'll lower all the way down to the floor. And feel if that's a bit more fluid as you roll through the spine. This next time, we'll press the glutes up to our low bridge. Pause at the top. And we're going to stretch our wrists. So we'll press the palms up to the ceiling. Really flexing the wrist, take the fingers wide here, and then open up the right wrist, using the left hand to pull back on the right fingers. Big inhale, and as you exhale again, knit that torso, or the two sides of the torso towards each other. We'll release the right hand, press the left palm up to the ceiling, spread the fingers, and then pull back using the right hand. Glutes are awake for sure. Exhale, knitting that torso together, pulling the rib cage. in towards your midline and into the back body. And then let the hand go. And one last time, we roll through the spine. Maybe it feels a bit more, almost like the water, like a wave. Heading into our core work today, we'll interlace the fingers behind the head. Knees are going to be over the hips and bent at a semi-90-degree angle. Of course, you can always lower the feet if that feels better. Actually, let's pause here. Let me lock our Zoom room. You can put your feet down so you don't have to hang out. All right. So option of those knees being up today over those hips. Big inhale. Exhale, head and shoulder blades lift. Really imagine the rib cage consolidating as your initiator there. And then as that happens, you're also going to draw down in the low belly. Inhale, head and shoulder blades lower. Exhale, head and shoulder blades lift. Rib and those abdominals are your motor there. And then we internally rotate the hips. So the feet are going to fly to some degree out to the sides. Envision as you do this, there is a line from your knee and hip joint almost straight through your torso, and try to press down in that spot. Those are your obliques. Back to neutral, inhale, lower. One more time, just like that. Exhale, head and shoulders lift. Internal rotation of the hips there. You're not going to have a huge range, but that's okay. Back to neutral, inhale, lower. Adding on here, remembering you can always put the feet down. Exhale, head and shoulder blades lift. Press down at that oblique area. Internal rotation of the legs. We twist left, so just moving through the rib cage, keeping the left shoulder blade off the mat. Back to neutral, legs return, inhale, lower. Exhale, head and shoulder blades lift. Pulling those ribs into the mat, hips internally rotate. Twisting right this time. Really lifting off the right shoulder blade. Back to neutral, inhale, lower. Just one more each side here. I'm feeling it. I hope you are too. Exhale, head and shoulders lift. Nothing like that. Internal fire. Internally rotate those hips. Twist left. Option here to slash the right arm on the outside of the left leg. Really reaching. Hand returns back to neutral. Inhale, lower. Last time, exhale, head and shoulder blades lift. Internal rotation of the hips. Twist to the right. Slashing left arm across the right leg, and then really reach to the right. Hand returns, inhale, lower. Let the knees come towards you. As you heard, my voice went there, so that core work overtook me. We'll let the feet fall to the mat as wide as the mat, and let the knees fall into center. We'll head to a supine twist. We've done this a bunch before, but I want you to think about it a little differently. So we'll open the left hip so that the left knee and thigh come towards the floor. Press through the right foot and squeeze the right glute. But almost envision the left thigh landing is your trigger to squeeze and press through the right foot. So think about those two systems being connected. This time, initiating, we'll crease at the right hip, lower the right pelvis. That pulls the left thigh up, and we switch sides. So right thigh lowers to trigger, pressing through the left foot, squeezing the left glute. Feeling some opening across the hip there. And then reversing, we crease the left hip, pelvis lowers, that pulls the right knee in. One more time each side, left leg presses to the floor, pulling up the right pelvis. And right hip creases, knee to center, opening right leg this last time here. Just getting a nice engaged twist. And then we'll roll back onto our backs and slowly make your way up and around, coming into quadruped. We'll pause just briefly with the wrists under the shoulders and the knees under the hips, but can you guys still hear me okay? I have a notification on my, can somebody unmute and just say if you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
I got a notice I was signed out, so I just want to make sure. Okay, so we're in quadruped. Knees are under hips. And this is different today. We'll sit the hips back, really flex at the hips. Pelvis coming towards the heels. It doesn't have to totally rest on them. And then walk the hands back so that your shoulders feel a bit more drawn onto the back. We're gonna cat-cow here. So exhale, press into the floor. We push up between the shoulder blades. So we're kind of moving on the diagonal here. But what we've done is blocked off the lumbar spine, the low back. So we're isolating where we're curving. You can let the head go. And then inhale, come back to neutral. Keep the core lifted here. And just pull like a cobra chest, almost pulling your sternum up on the diagonal. Exhale, push into the floor, just moving in the thoracic here, keeping low abdominals pulled up into the back body. Inhale, straighten out that spine. Gentle, gentle, just a tiny pull into cobra, pulling that chest up. One more each way. Exhale, push, cat. Inhale, gentle cow here. And then we'll shift forward, coming onto our forearms. We'll just do a few movements in dolphin here. As always, you can keep the knees on the ground if you prefer. You can also interlace the fingers if that feels better. Gives you a bit of a triangle base. Today we'll move between this position here, our quadruped on the forearms, and our dolphin. So we'll tuck the toes, exhale. First thing that happens is we puff through the shoulders. We reach the peak there, and then press through the toes to lift the pelvis. Pause just for a moment at the top. Feel weight in those forearms, pressing the floor away. And then initiating our lower, we bend the knees, drawing them slowly back to the floor. And last thing, we flatten out our back, so coming to a neutral spine. Exhale, upper back moves. We reach the peak, we press into the forearms, lifting those knees. Pause at the top. Knees bend first to oh so slowly lower. We're still pressing through the forearms. And inhale, come to neutral. One more, just like that. Exhale, press the floor away. Reaching our peak. Lifting up through the shoulders, almost like you were shrugging them. And then we lower the knees to the floor. You can take them wide and sit your hips back. Again, coming into a child's pose. Big inhale here. Exhale, let the air out. And then shifting first by squeezing your glutes to move your hips forward. We'll tuck our toes, gently walk our way forward to the top of the mat. Bend into the knees and hips. And just taking a moment, first we'll kind of break down this thing we do all the time but take for granted, the forward fold. So we're going to rise to Tadasana, but first things first is I want you to pull the core like you could pull it off your thighs. It might not happen. At the same time, pulling up with the rib cage up towards the back body, and then drive back more into the hip joint so you're sitting deeper, and use this length in the torso. Squeeze the glutes and you come to rise, pressing into the floor. Oh, nice Tadasana. That feels really integrated. Now we'll reverse that, heading into our sun cell one here. So first things first, we crease at those hips, sitting the hip joint back in space. Torso kind of tassels over the legs. Right foot steps back, lower that knee and the top of the foot. Inhale, lift for our half kneel. And just feel the lift here for a moment. Draw that chin towards the throat, length through the spine. Hands plant under the shoulders, step back for plank. Squeeze your glutes there. Knees lower. Initiator here. We're going to keep the shoulders exactly as they are. Just bend the elbows. We're not shifting forward. Inhale, cobra. Pulling the chest forward by drawing the hands back on the mat. Exhale, tuck the toes. Core lifts first. Down dog. Right foot steps forward, lower the left knee, top of the foot. Inhale, lift. Finding that length once again. Integrating the core here. Drawing the back of the neck long. Hands plant in front of the foot, tuck the back toes. We shift forward, forward fold. Left foot steps in, exhale. And we lift to Tadasana. We went through it nice and slow. So just repeat those steps. Inhale. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Hands plant. Left foot steps back, lower the knee. Top of the foot, inhale, lift. Here's our first little sequential thing here. Right arm reaches over to the side and down. Imagine that movement down will pull you over to the right side. At the same time, lift up through the left ribs. Side bend here. Squeeze that left glute. And then envision someone pulling on the left ribs down towards the pelvis to lift you up. Right arm lifts, hands plant, plank. Squeezing the glutes at the top, shoulders on the back, knees lower, we lower to the floor. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, down dog. Core initiates. Left foot steps forward, lower the right knee, top of the foot, inhale, lift. Opposite side here, right glutes on, left arm comes down by our side, pulling us over to the left as we lift into the right side body. And let the ear go towards the shoulder. And then envisioning someone pulling down on the right rib cage, lifting back to vertical, hands plant in front of the foot. Exhale, right foot steps forward, bending to those knees, we rise to Tadasana. Moving to our next sequence here, bring the hands to the front of the hips. We'll practice this nice flexion again. So we crease at the hips first, keep length in the torso, arms slide down the legs towards the floor. Exhale, we pull the core up first, press into the floor, glutes squeeze to rise to Tadasana. Exhale, we're just practicing this a few times here. Sliding those arms down, keeping length in the spine. So this part is not yet ooey gooey, we're in our kind of establishing stability phase. Sliding those hands down. Fingers do not have to touch the floor if that's not your range at this moment, it doesn't matter. Sliding down and up. This last time we'll slide down, sit back in the hips even more, deepen those hip creases, fingertips come to the floor. Step the right foot behind you, immediately ground the heel to the left, head to a side lunge. Left toes turn to the side of the mat, and we bend into the right knee and hip, pulling the hands over to the right side. Anchor into the left hand, open up for a twist by pulling the elbow first and then extending up through the fingers. Keep feeling that lift in the core here. And reversing the right arm, fingers curl down to the floor all the way through the arm. We shift left. Right hand plants, once again, initiate with that left elbow. Well, first kind of the shoulder blade pulls onto the back, left elbow lifts, and then we unfurl the fingers. Reversing that, fingers curl down towards the floor. Hands plant, we move to the right. Right shoulder blade comes onto the back. We feel the ribs opening, Right elbow pulls up and then fingers unfurl at the top. Last time here, right fingertips curl down, elbow bends, coming back to neutral. Walk yourself to the top of the mat, right knee lowers, keeping the toes tucked if that's okay. Inhale, lift. Left hand comes down to your side. We've been here before. Using that energy to side bend over to the left. Keep squeezing this right glute. Exhale, take a slight turn down towards the floor. So it's a bit of a twist, but we're already kind of curved, so that upper back curves more. You're reaching on the left diagonal. Inhale, return to our side bend over to the left, and we lift up to vertical. Hands plant, step back for plank. Pause there for a second. Feeling the shoulder blades on the back. Exhale, lift in the core. Use that to flex at the hips, lifting the pelvis. Down dog. Shifting forward, feel the shoulders glide on the back, moving back to plank. Exhale, pelvis lifts. Use that core as your motor. Keep the ribs lifted in your down dog here. Exhale, shoulder blades glide onto the back as we shift forward. Exhale, pelvis lifts. Adding on here, if you'd like, you can stick with what we've done, or as you shift forward to plank, left knee comes towards the left elbow. Nothing else moves here, so you might not make it all the way. Left foot steps back. Exhale, pelvis lifts. Keeping the ribs pulled into the back. Exhale, shifting forward, optional right knee to left elbow. Step the foot back, pelvis lifts. One more each side. You can always lower the knees if that feels better. So we shift forward, left knee pulls to right elbow. Step that foot back, pelvis lifts, down dog. Shift it forward, exhale. Right elbow to left. Right knee to left elbow. That would be amazing. Step the foot back. We'll all lower the knees, lower to the floor. Heading to cobra, pull back with the hands first. Feel the shoulder blades pull onto the back. Inhale, use that to open the chest. And exhale, lower. Same thing again. Hands pull back. Inhale. Exhale, lower. One more, inhale, hands pull, lift. Exhale, lower. Tuck the toes, we lift into down dog. Big inhale here, exhale. Step the left foot as far forward as you can, keeping those hands on the ground. Right leg lifts to some degree, standing split or standing L. So we're keeping the pelvis even here. And that feeling of what we did in our cat-cow series, little bit of a cow cobra chest here. We'll open towards a warrior two leg, so listen carefully. Right toes lower first. Right heel grounds towards the left side. We use that to open up, tasseling the upper body, bringing that left forearm to meet the left thigh. So it's that kind of nice initiation from the heel that's opening us. Inhale, lift to warrior two here. Exhale, we'll move through our warrior variation, forearm to thigh, and then shift on the right toes, turning to the front. Hands come to prayer, prayer twisted crescent. That right elbow's coming towards the left thigh. It can be tapped on top gently, or you can be lifting. Right glute's on there. Same practice, right heel is going to initiate us back to warrior variation. That heel grounds, we open up the right side body, forearm comes to thigh. Inhale through center. Exhale through our warrior variation, we come to prayer twisted crescent. Left leg is forward, still pulling up in the deep core here. One more time, right heel grounds, we open it up. That left leg is feeling it. Warrior variation. Inhale at center. Exhale, windmill, right hand lands, twisted crescent. That right hand's right under the shoulder. Right glute is lifted. You can always lower the knee if that feels more accessible. You can fly the left arm up to the sky if that feels okay. And then we'll bring the left hand way in front of the left foot, walk the right hand way in front of the left foot. And then we're gonna shift off the right toes, stepping the right foot forward to meet the left. And sink the hips back way deep, let the torso fall over the legs. Feeling curvature in the spine here, a bit of passive position. And we'll lengthen through the spine, feeling our forward fold. Hands slide up the legs. Inhale. Exhale, shifting forward. Hands slide down, forward fold. Inhale, lift at the top. We're going straight to the other side. Exhale, hands sliding down. Keeping length in the spine here. Core continues to lift up into the spine. Glutes squeeze at the top. And last time, hands slide down for our forward fold. Fingertips land. Left foot steps back, returning to side lunge. Left heel initiates the turn. Right toes turn. Hands sweep over, right hand lands. We pull the left shoulder, elbow, and finger up. Left fingers curl, elbow bends, back to the floor, shifting into the right leg and hip. Left hand lands, right shoulder pulls onto the back. Ribs are really twisting first there. And then right fingers peel down to the floor. One more time, shifting to the left. Right hand lands, opening up in the ribs. Feel the left shoulder blade come onto the back. Fingers curl towards the floor. We walk our way to the front of the mat. Left knee lowers, keeping those toes tucked. Inhale. Right hand comes to the side and we side bend over to the right. Turn on that left glute, check in with it. Exhale, curving on the right diagonal, upper body curves here. Inhale, return to your side bend. Exhale, return to vertical. Hands plant, coming to plank. Moving through this series here. So remembering, exhale to down dog. You can stick with the plank. Exhale, shift it forward, plank. You can shift to plank and have the knees down. As we move, we exhale to consolidate the core. Inhale at the top, and then exhale to shift again to plank. Exhale, down dog. Adding in those knees if you'd like. Exhale, shift forward. Right knee moves first to the left elbow. Step back, down dog. Shift it forward. Left elbow to right knee. You know what I meant. Step the foot back, pelvis lifts. One more each side if you're doing the knees. Right moves. Step it back, down dog. Shift it forward, left knee. Step that foot back and we lower the knees to come onto our bellies. Hands pull back, shoulders draw onto the back, cobra. Exhale, lower. Hands pull back, using that to lift our chest for cobra. Exhale, one more. Inhale. Neck stays in line with the spine here. Anchor those glutes. And then exhale, tuck the toes, lift into down dog. Right leg lifts here. We'll step the foot forward, keeping those feet on the floor, shifting for a standing L. Imagining we have equal weight in each hand and the foot. Moving towards our warrior variation, left toes lower, left heel initiates, turning to the right, we open up the left side body, warrior variation. Get that right sits bone underneath you, pelvis is neutral here. Inhale at center. Exhale, turning back to the front of the mat, hands come to prayer, adding a bit of a twist. Hover in this twisted crescent position. One more time, left heel initiates, tasseling the torso back to warrior variation. Get the pelvis neutral. Inhale, vertical. Exhale, prayer twist. Left elbow towards the right thigh. Turn that left glute on. We've got a neutral pelvis. Last time here, left heel lowers, opening warrior variation. Inhale, lift. Exhale, windmill, left hand meets the mat, twisted crescent. Meaning back into the left shoulder blade, we open up the right side. Feeling here, this right hip crease is really deepening. One side might be a bit tighter in the back space. You'll feel that, but that's okay. It opens up over time. And then exhale, right hand comes in front of the foot, left hand moves forward, coming on the fingertips. We press off the left toe, step the foot forward, bend the knees, and just let yourself fall. Shake out the head at the bottom. Lengthen that spine as we inhale, Tadasana. Exhale, hinge at the hips, hands plant, step back for plank. Lower the knees or lower halfway, Chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Squeeze your glutes. Exhale, down dog. Walk those feet in a touch. Big inhale. Exhale, bend the knees. Walk or take a hop to the top of the mat. Inhale, rise, Tadasana. Exhale, hinging at the hips, hands plant. Step back for plank. Lower the knees or lower halfway. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, down dog. Walk those feet in. Exhale, bend the knees. Walk or hop forward. Bend into the knees. Inhale, rise. Last time, exhale, hinge at the hips. We'll meet in down dog, so take your vinyasa or go straight there. Either lowering the knees or lowering halfway. Inhale, cobra or up dog. And exhale. Left leg lifts here, three-legged down dog. Exhale, step the foot forward. We'll open to goddess to the right side. Right hip opens, external rotation. Arms reach out to the side. Big inhale here. Feeling the sits bone squeeze towards your midline, giving you a little lift from below. And then keeping the pelvis as is, we move just the rib cage on top of it. So you can anchor using your hands, and the ribs move right, and they move left. Trying to keep the ribs stacked and keep them from flaring forward as we do this. That's the precision part that can be tricky. One more each way. And we'll pause in the middle. Arms come wide. Let the left arm fall towards the hip. We'll turn on the right toes, moving through crescent. Coming to prayer, we'll take it slow this first time. We shift our weight forward, moving towards curtsy squat. This right knee comes behind the left knee. Reversing that, right toes step back, we open, returning to goddess. Arms come wide. Right arm lowers, initiating our turn to the back of the mat. Hands to prayer, left foot steps forward, curtsy squat. Keeping lift in the deep abdominals. Left foot steps back, open it up, goddess. Left hand lowers, turning to the front of the mat. We cross in our prayer twisted curtsy. Right foot steps back. This time windmill all the way to the back of the mat. Head to seated twist. Left knee comes behind the right ankle and we sit facing the opposite direction on the mat. Right hand lowers. We do the same thing we did in side lunge, pulling up with the shoulder, elbow, unfurling the hand. Side bend here. And then fingers curl down, pulling us towards the floor. Hand lands and right shoulder, elbow, finger unfurl, side bend left. Reversing it, fingers curl, wrist curls, elbow bends, right hand lands, left arm unfurls, and left fingers curl, pulling you towards the floor, right hand extends. Oh, feeling that opening in the side body, the back body here. Press into the left hand. Well, we'll unfurl the right fingers towards the floor, come to vertical. And turning to the left, we're moving to the front of the mat. Left foot forward, half moon. Left fingers come in front of the left foot to some degree. We open up the right side body here. Our anchor, our kind of initiator is the pelvis. Opening up the side of the body, we let the ribs and the core respond. Inhale, right arm can lift up over the shoulder. And then furl those fingers down towards the floor. They come under the shoulder. Right toes land, moving to side plank. We'll stack the left foot on top of the right. Alternatively, you can have the right shin down, opening for modified side plank. It's your choice. You can keep the gaze looking at the floor. Squeeze those glutes here. Exhale, initiating with the left knee, we step the left foot forward, somewhere towards the right leg. Walk the hands forward, shifting it to a standing L here. We were here just a moment ago. We'll do a small, brief little sequence here. Right toe is going to be our initiator. So press into the left foot, really feel secure in that glute. Right toes will lower. We'll let the hands slide up the left leg as we lift. Right toes extend forward. Right knee bends and pulls us back towards an airplane. Hands come to the floor for standing L. So we kind of did a little loop-de-loop there. We'll do it again. Right toes start to lower. Hands slide up the left leg. Right leg extends forward. Toes dip back. Press towards the back of the room, moving through airplane, fingertips lower. One more, just like that. Left leg's feeling it. Right toes lower, moving through vertical. Leg extends, knee bends, toes reach behind you. And we'll bring the hands to the floor, tuck the right toes, and step the left foot back. Inhale here. Exhale. Let it go. Right leg lifts, other side, three-legged down dog. Right foot steps forward, opening to the left for goddess. Left hip externally rotates, arms come to the pelvis. Solid, secure, neutral pelvis here, and the rib cage moves above it, moving left and right, and left and right. For some reason, this feels like being in a Britney Spears music video or something. So I hope you're embracing that vibe wherever you are. We'll do one more each side, left and right, and then come to neutral, arms extend wide. Right hand lowers first, this time towards the hip, moving us to the front of the mat, coming through prayer. Left elbow towards the right thigh. We pop the left knee behind the right knee. Weight into that right leg. We step the left foot back, open for goddess. Left hand lowers towards the left hip, turning to the back of the mat. Hands come to prayer. We twist and step the right foot forward, curtsy. So that left leg's really taking Whoops, I'm falling. A lot of the weight here. Right foot steps back, open for goddess. One more front. Right hand lowers, turning us to the front, moving through prayer. Curtsy squat, that left foot steps in. You're finding yourself wobbling like me, I'm just realizing I'm really letting the core go. So keep that sense of lift in the abdominals. This time, left foot steps back, we unwind to the back of the mat, moving to seated twist, right hand lands, right knee tucks behind the left foot. Sitting down, you can also extend the bottom leg here. Right hand lands, left arm unfurls over, side bend to the right. And let the ear go. And then reversing, fingers curl first, wrist, and then pulls you down to the other side, unfurling this right arm, almost moving from the scapula first. Moving from the fingers, curling them back towards the floor, let it pull you. Left shoulder pulls up, elbow, unfurl the wrist. Fingers curl to the floor. Last time, over to the left side, right arm unfurls. And right fingertips curl towards the floor. Come to vertical, turning to our right. We head to the front of the mat. Right half moon, weight into this right foot first. Drop your fingers somewhere on the floor and feel the pelvis open you up. Half moon. We're stacking left half of the pelvis on the right here, really flexing at the right hip, keeping the right knee nice and buoyant. Left arm can extend up above the shoulder. And we curl the left fingers down underneath the shoulder. Left toes land, modified or full side plank. Either option is great. Lengthen the tailbone towards the heels here. Initiating with the right knee, exhale, right foot steps forward, walk the hands forward, come to our standing L. Left leg lifts, neutral pelvis, all the goods. Come up onto the fingertips, feel this secure right leg. Moving to our circular kind of snaking motion. The left toes will initiate. Left toes start to lower, hands draw up the right leg, press into that leg. Left leg extends forward and left knee bends, toes reach back, shifting into airplane. Fingertips meet the mat. Left toes lower, hands up the leg, slide it through Tadasana, leg extends forward, knee bends, airplane. Fingertips to floor. Last time here, left toes start to lower, drag those fingers up the leg. Left leg extends forward, knee bends. We shift it back through our airplane, and then hands land. Take it to your down dog. I don't know why I said it like that, but forgive me. Big inhale. Exhale. We'll bend the knees and walk your way to the top of the mat. Shifting deeply back into those hips. Inhale, we lift. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Just take a moment, feel your Tadasana here. Close those eyes. We'll breathe, checking in before we head to our stream sequence. And when you're ready, you can flutter your eyes open. Take those hands down by your sides. And we'll get our stream going. Inhale, hands reach forward and up. Exhale, hinge at the hips. We've practiced it so well here. Fingers pause on the mat. And we slide the hands up the legs. So we sweep the arms up, Sit the hips back, almost like we're moving through a chair. Fingertips land and we slide it up. Arms up, exhale. Something that we take for granted, but it's really powerful to be clear with our mechanics here. This time we'll pause, fingertips at the bottom, press them into the floor, exhale, cat your back, almost like someone was pulling up from your mid-back, like pulling on your shirt. Oh, I just felt something come into place. That felt great. Extend the spine, inhale, right foot steps back, taking us into side lunge. This time we sweep the hands right, and then we bend into left knee and hip, sweep the hands left. So the hip crease here is our initiator, and the torso follows sequentially. And that means that we bend left, and then ribs move left, shoulders move left, and finally arms and head. So it's like a feather duster or a broom or a mop or something. You can get nice and fluid here. Next time we'll pause right, walk our way to the top of the mat, right foot lowers, right knee lowers. Inhale, rise. Exhale. Left hand will come behind the pelvis, reach up with the right. This time we'll side bend over to the left, and then start to open the ribs to the right a little bit, just a little. Feel a little extra going on in the front seam. Inhale, return to vertical. Hands plant, step back for plank. Pause there. You know what we do here. Exhale, shifting to down dog and forward. You have your options we did before. You can pull knee to elbow or just shift between plank and down dog. Third option, this time, left knee comes to right elbow. We kick it out, open the right arm for fallen triangle. Replace the hand, and then move to down dog. And you do that on both sides, if you so choose. And you pick your version, feel good about it, feel secure. We've done this before, so it's probably a little bit more open and accessible. Whatever version you're doing, we'll do one more. Next time you come to plank, pause. We'll lower to the floor. Inhale, locust, shine that chest forward. Legs fly, arms fly back. Exhale, hands plant, lift into your down dog. Walk the feet in a touch. Left leg lifts, three-legged down dog. Exhale, step the foot forward, open up warrior variation immediately. Inhale through center. Exhale, reverse it this time. What is this? Left arm over the ear. Inhale through center. Exhale, warrior variation. Inhale through center. Exhale, reverse. This time, let the reverse left arm take you towards the back of the mat. We'll turn the feet, coming into our prayer twisted crescent. Left elbow towards the right thigh. Second option is to shift into the right leg. Lift the left for a revolving half moon. We'll all move towards goddess, so lower the left toes if they're lifted. Open up, goddess. Left hand lowers, turning to the front of the mat. Prayer twisted crescent forward. Option here, creasing into the left hip, shift into that foot. Revolving half moon. Back to goddess, right toes lower if they're up. Turning to the back of the mat, prayer twisted crescent. Optional float. Toes lower, open to goddess. Turning to the front, prayer twist. Optional float there. Windmill to the back of the mat towards seated twist. Left fingers lower. Left knee tucks behind the right foot. This time, interlace the fingers here. Exhale, punch them forward. Curve the upper back in space. Just like a cat. Inhale, find vertical here. Turning to the left, we head to the front of the mat. Left foot, half moon. Open up using the right half of the pelvis here. I caught myself midway to explain. And extend the right arm up if you so choose. Right arm fingers curl towards the floor under the shoulder. Side plank option, or hop those left toes behind you. Turn the pelvis about a third of the way. Left arm reaches over the ear. Dancer's table here. Big inhale. Exhale, when stepping the left foot forward, everybody. Weight into it, shifting into a standing L. Feeling that chest pulling forward. Final option, if you like to try this, you don't have to. You can give a little push off of the left toes, coming towards a bit of a inversion. Totally optional. And then we'll all bring the right foot to meet the left. Sit the hips back. Inhale, rise, Tadasana. Exhale, hands to heart center. One more side to go here. Inhale, arms reach forward and up. Exhale, moving through our chair-like pose, fingers to the floor, and they slide up the legs, keeping that spine long. Inhale, exhale. Slide them up. Inhale, arms extend. Sit the hips back, exhale. Arms slide up as we stand. Last time, inhale. Exhale, sit the hips back, pause with the fingers on the floor. Exhale, push the floor away, curling that upper back towards the ceiling. Inhale, return to neutral. Step the left foot behind you, turn for side lunges. Tassel that torso, left and right, as we alternate our side lunges here. We'll pause when we go left next and walk our way to the front of the mat, coming to our half kneel, left knee lowers. Inhale, arms extend. Hand comes behind the right hand comes behind the pelvis. Inhale, exhale, side bend right. Slightly rotate the left rib cage on the open a little bit. Really squeeze the left glute so it doesn't affect your low back. And then inhale to vertical, hands plant, step to your plank. Same options here. Exhale to down dog and back to plank. Or you can start to add in your crisscrosses here with the knees. Option to take it to the fallen triangle. Making sure, take it in your own time. It's, I mean, as cliche as it is to say, it's your practice. And we want you to get out of it what you want. And sometimes that means taking your time. Sometimes that means like flying. Know that either one is okay. We'll do one more of whatever you're doing. Pause in your plank and lower to the floor. Inhale, locust, arms fly back, legs extend and lift. Really secure the pubic bone onto the mat. Exhale, hands land under the shoulders, lift into down dog. Walk those feet into touch. Right leg extends here, three-legged down dog. Exhale, step the foot forward. Left heel grounds, warrior variation, right forearm to thigh. Inhale through center. Exhale, reverse it, right arm over the ear. Inhale through center, warrior variation. Inhale, rise. Exhale, reverse. Really lifting up through the right pelvis here. We'll turn to the back of the mat, following the right hand to a prayer twisted crescent. Right elbow maybe taps the left thigh. Option to shift into a revolving half moon, lifting those right toes. We open to goddess, lowering the right foot if it's lifted, opening right hip, arms extend wide. Right arm lowers towards the right hip, turning you to the front of the mat. Prayer twisted crescent, left elbow towards the right thigh here. Left glute still really on to keep the pelvis neutral. Left toes lower, open to goddess. And left arm initiates, turning to the back of the mat through our prayer. Optional balance here. Opening to goddess. Last time, right arm towards the hip, turning towards prayer twisted crescent. Option to float it. Creasing in this right hip so deeply. And then left toes lower. We windmill to the back of the mat, seated twist. Right fingers land, right knee behind the left foot. Interlace those fingers. Exhale, punch them away as the upper back curves. Let the head go. Inhale, extend that spine. Heading to half moon, turning to the right, unwinding to the front of the mat. Right foot faces forward. Right fingertips land, and we open up the left half of the pelvis, squeezing that right glute here for our half moon. Left arm extends up towards the ceiling. And those rib cage, the front of the ribs are pulling into the back body. Exhale, left fingers curl towards the floor, under the shoulder. Side plank, modified side plank, or dancer's table with the right toes behind you, just pressing the pelvis up on a shallow diagonal. Big inhale here. We're heading to standing L. Right knee will initiate, pulling us forward. Step the foot down, hands move forward. Standing L, feeling the chest surging through the hands. At the same time, feeling that nice crease in the right hip. With the option to give a little hop here. I'm a little afraid of my doors, so I will leave it, but we're gonna head straight to our backs. Tucking the left shin underneath us, or moving in any way that's easy to get there. Sequentially lowering through the spine here, entering straight into our moments of Shavasana. Finding any position that feels good to your body right now. We'll be here for just a moment. Taking each exhale to let your body sink further into the floor. Switching the nervous system off here. Down regulating. If you'd like to stay longer in your Shavasana today, go ahead and turn off the video or mute your computer. Stay as long as you'd like, letting the mind quiet, the body relax. If you're ready to move, on your next inhale, we'll extend the arms overhead along the floor, reaching far away from the body, feeling lengthening through the spine. And exhale, release that energy and that release, or that extension. Slowly draw one knee towards you at a time. Maybe catch it with your hands. And keeping those eyes closed, we'll make our way towards a comfortable seat. Taking a final check-in before we close our practice today. Taking this moment to feel the rib cage stacked directly above the pelvis, the skull directly above the rib cage, and the shoulder blades sitting right on the ribs. Feeling that sequential exploration, moving through each set of joints with intention, can bring us to a more upright, vertical place of more openness, and a place of more fluidity. Thank you so much for your practice today, for being here. I hope you're all safe and well. The light in me sees and honors the light in you. Thank you. Thanks, you guys. I'll stick around if you have questions, and otherwise, I'm back next week. I hope you have a great weekend, and I hope midterms are seamless. So have a good one. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Courtney.
Thank you, Meredith.
Thanks, Keith.